My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring. And I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
Welcome in, welcome in. Stream number 2 of the day. Appreciate you guys joining me. If you're catching it live now, I appreciate it. If we are catching it later on the VOD playlist, VOD channel, I appreciate that. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. We are pumping out more and more content all the time. So we are trying to stay I don't know if the word relevant. I'm trying to come up with content that we can keep putting out until we get through the season. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I know it seems like it's a slow time of the year, but it's not. You know, we do have, some stuff going on, whether it's showcases, whether it's camps. And today, it being National Signing Day. So a lot of young ladies signing their national letter of intent to go play at the next level. So, kudos, congratulations to them. They worked their tails off. If you're one of them, congratulations. Parents, friends, family members, a good deal. A lot of hard work, a lot of time and effort put into to getting to that point. And now the real work starts. You got to get healthy. If you're banged up, you got to stay on top of the grades. Now you got to work even harder. All the college coaches that I talk to, it's it's the time, effort, and energy that you put into it just needs to increase. So good deal with that. If you made it, if you signed your letter, that's awesome. Congratulations again. So tonight I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about what that means, and some of the girls that aren't there yet, aren't eligible to sign, or maybe they're waiting, for whatever reason. A lot of different things going on for different people. So that journey for everybody is similar, but it's not the same for everybody. With that being said, think back to when the whole journey started. I was looking at a lot of the girls that I follow or follow me, or they're posted, and I'm able to see it. Think back to when that journey started, when you saw maybe a sibling or a friend, or maybe your own kid, or maybe it's yourself. Go back. Did you think you would get to this point? Did you think you would be signing that letter? I mean, it's a big deal. And then your friends and stuff that are around you that maybe not old enough yet, you're an inspiration. So this is a big deal. Whether it was your first choice, second choice, whatever, no matter what, it's a big deal. So think back on that journey. As parents, I know the long hours. We talk about money. We talk about the hard work. We talk about, taking our kids from, maybe a ballet practice over to a cheer practice to a softball practice, or whatever we're doing. It's a lot of work. So this day that your kids signed, it's a big deal for you too. You can go back. I'm sure there's a lot of emotion. On one side, it's the end of a chapter. It's the end of a road as far as, being at home in some cases. So some of them are traveling, across the country. Some of them are staying at home with you guys, staying close by, depending on, where you live. But it's kind of like, not an end-all be-all or a bookend to something, but it's a time to kind of reflect and go, okay, hey, things are different now. They carry themselves a little bit different now all of a sudden. Whether they verbaled and they were having the conversations with the coaches, and they now it's real. Now it's there. So, we're going to take a look at the colleges that we're going to the power conferences, the Power Five, the ones we see on TV. We're going to take a look at those here in a little while and just kind of see where the powers that be are ranking them. So we can kind of look forward to the incoming freshmen that we're going to see playing on ESPN, or going to be playing, at their college of choice. So on any level, I want to make sure this is clear. On any level that you decide to play at the next level, whether it's D3, D2, D1, we talked about this a little bit this morning. It's a big deal. So. Again, congratulations. It's awesome. I wish you nothing but the best on your journey. and it's a big day. So as we move forward on that, we're going to get into the big three tonight as well. There's a couple different topics that I wanted to talk about to kind of tie into the National Signing Day. And I just wanted to get out there and to answer some questions that some parents that have, or athletes have, or whatever. We can pretty much talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about tonight. We'll just do almost like a Q&A, if you will. I'm just going to be rambling on, and hopefully some of the stuff I say or whatever, you pick up on it, and we can kind of go from there. So I do want to talk briefly here and look at some of the colleges, some of the schools that the top 50, if you will. I don't know if anybody's gone to extra inning softball in the past, but man, it's a great tool. If you haven't gone to their website, extra inning softball, man, they do an incredible job staying up with the news, the current events, man, everything that you can imagine. It's there. They do a very good job. Brent does an incredible job. He's the president. Just the information that they're able to pass along, the people that they talk to, just their sources to getting information. So one thing I did want to get into before I forgot about it was those rankings that I just mentioned. So the signing classes for 2023, I just want to go through this briefly. So it is signing day, of course. Now this was put out around lunchtime today, so we'll take a look at it. Here are the top 50 college signing classes for the 2023s. Some big time names that are out there that I know we talked about them nationally. You may have heard about them, you may have played with them, may have played against them. Had a chance to look at them. So according to Extra Inning Softball, they're saying Florida had the best recruiting class, and that's followed up by Oklahoma, Florida State, Texas, and then LSU in fifth. So if you look at it, there are some powerhouse teams, of course, these perennial teams that we see. We look at them on ESPN, and when we talk about recruiting and we go and we look at college choices, like our when we talk, we tell our kids or our players to, hey, let's make a list. Let's start. We're here in the beginning. Where do you want to play college ball at? Well, I can almost guarantee you that they don't know of all the colleges that are out there that have a program. Now the program, of course, it could be D1, D2, D3, it could be whatever. But the ones that they're going to know about are the ones that they either hear about from their families or they see on TV or they talk about, when it comes to the College World Series or comes to playoff or comes to their conference. So they're going to know the colleges that are around them, of course, for the most part. And then they're going to see what they see on social media. They're going to see what they see on TV when they're talking playoffs and College World Series and the postseason. So that's where these schools that we see, like right now, if we look, every one of these schools is a popular school, meaning they're on TV. They have some sort of following, whether it's social media or in the rankings. But as you sort of trickle down a little bit, we start looking at some of these names that we're not used to seeing on TV, if you will. So if we were just going and saying, hey, if we told our kid to make a list, I don't know how many outside of the Jacksonville State area are going to have them on their list. Just now, everybody has their dream schools, of course, and you hear dream schools like, whether it's Oregon or LSU or Alabama or Florida, Clemson or Oklahoma State. They have their dream schools, right? We all do. But how many of them have dream schools that consist of maybe a JMU or a Cal Berkeley? On the bubble type schools. Look at these schools that they're considering ranking high enough, like a Samford or maybe the only time you see Maryland is on TV, or and you don't hear about them. They're just not on social media because you're not in that area, or you're not following them, or whatever. So, some way, somehow, these colleges are reaching out, getting to the talent that they want on their team. So do your research. Don't just stay inside of a bubble. And that's why I brought it up with some of these schools that we don't normally see or normally would think would have a high recruiting class or ranking, such as maybe a Pitt or a Northwestern. We're talking we're top 25, top 30 schools as far as recruiting class goes. Up there being able to compete. They have the talent to compete with these perennial powerhouses, if you will, the Floridas, the Oklahomas, the Florida States, Texas. So that just goes to show the growth of the game. I'm telling you right now, the talent gap from a D1, D2, D3, it's not as big as it used to be. It's just not. The level of competition these girls are getting on the travel level, the showcase level, it's just, man, they're very close. So imagine trying to be, helping the head coach decide on who they're going to take, helping him and her, go through the weeds. And we're splitting hairs here. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do, make a decision. And imagine that pressure. So the pressure that you have on you, to get recruited, they have the same type of pressure of making sure they're recruiting the right player. They don't want to get someone that just can't perform, or someone that gets to the college campus and they can't make the grades, or can't keep up with the work ethic, or keep their work ethic up. I mean, so it's tough, right? Look at these schools. We're talking about the top 50. I mean, every one of these schools has a head coach, or you would think all of them have a head coach, but all of them have some entity that is in charge of recruiting, whether it's a one person band, like a one man band, or if there's advisors or whatever. So there's a team of at least one deciding between you and another girl to go play ball, right? So there's not a whole lot of places you can go play ball at. There's a lot, but when you think about how many athletes are playing ball up until their sophomore, junior years before they turn it off, before their senior year, or even before, there's a lot of girls that do have aspirations, to go play at the next level. And so there's plenty of opportunity out there. We're talking D1 at this point. And then from there, maybe you want to put more emphasis on playing college ball at a D2 school, because your school, the workload that you have for your classes, depending on what you want to be when you grow up. And what I mean by growing up is when you get, this down the road, 40 years down the road, when you're in your 50s or in your 60s, paying off student loans, what do I want to be, what's my career choice? So that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about following your dream and making sure your schools line up. I've spoke previously in different live streams and different podcasts about the brand, right? Does your brand line up with an Arkansas? Does your brand line up with a South Carolina or a Georgia Tech? Where do you see yourself? Can you see yourself as a Yellow Jacket or a Stanford Cardinal? Are you up there with a Florida, or can you rock it in the swamp? Can you live in Florida? You're coming from North Dakota, right? And you're used to it just being cold 8 months out of the year, or however long it's cold up there. I don't see you going to Southern California and just all of a sudden being able to do it in Southern California, right? It's hard to imagine, leaving home for the very first time and saying, hey, I want to move all the way across the country, or I want to go play in Hawaii, or I'm coming from Hawaii, now I'm going to the East Coast. So there's a lot that goes into that decision making that you have to consider. Rylan, if we look at it right now, Extra Innings is saying that the top recruiting class going into the 2023 season is Florida, followed by Oklahoma, and that's based on the recruits that they got and how they rank their recruits. So it's just signing classes. Who knows what'll happen? And this really doesn't have a whole lot of bearing on the NCAA ranks, but this is how they look at the prospects that they were ranking throughout the year, as far as the extra elite 100 rankings, and then they take those players and they just wherever they decided to go, to figure it out how they want to rank them, put more weight where. But if we move on from that, we can look at rankings. Where they kind of get their information from. You can log in and actually create an account, and you can go through and you can create a profile for your player, your team, and yourself, individual, and you get all the benefits. I mean, if you were to subscribe today, there is a whole plethora of information that they'll give you to find out. It's Extra Inning Softball is a great tool. It's a great resource. But if we get back into looking at news that's kind of trickling out from this with the Extra Inning, this is my source for a lot of my information. Brent does an incredible job when it comes to getting information, having inside sources, and figuring out kind of what the deal is. There's Addie Metler. That's Greg Metler's daughter. She is signed to go to UCLA. I think she's pretty much grown up on that campus. If you look at the number of signees, now granted, quantity over quality, however you want to judge that, all these players, if you're ranked by Extra Inning Softball, you got it going on. You know what you're doing. So, how much difference is it between a 1 and a 2 or an 8 and a 12? It's just what you're looking for. You know what I mean? Nitpicking, splitting hairs. But what they're saying is they rank their top 100, the Extra Elite 100, and this is a list compiled of how many signees in that top 100 went to each school respectively. So LSU got 7 of the top 100, Florida and Texas got 6, and then so on and so forth. There's a lot of these teams that you see year after year in the College World Series, Women's College World Series. And then there's some that you may not see as often, and it's like putting them on the map. And now if you're not paying attention to Alabama, Birmingham, I'm telling you right now, they're legit. They're on the rise. They've been on the rise for quite some time. You're talking getting 3 big-time recruits for this class, and I'm telling you right now, more are coming. The ACC, SEC, they always seem to do well in recruiting over the last few years. So you see the LSU, Florida, Auburn, and then on the East Coast you got Virginia, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Mississippi State, Florida State, Boston College. There's a lot of teams that we know and recognize. So I guess at this point, let it be motivation for you to look at. So hey, you know what? Today is signing day. Maybe I'm a freshman. Today is signing day for some of my friends. I've got my signing day coming up, and you set a long-term major goal here. I want to go play Division I ball at the University of Kentucky. So you start working towards that right now. You start looking at the culture. You start looking at where it is geographically. You start looking at the prerequisites to get in. You start looking at programs that they offer academically. You start looking at this extracurricular stuff that makes you shine a little bit brighter than this next recruit does, or this next potential ball players coming in there. So what's going to separate me? Volunteering, coaching, keeping my grades good, scoring well on whatever test that they want me to score well on. And also, all the while, keeping up with your athletics. They want to come see you. And there's a lot of colleges that, are looking at 2 and 3 sport athletes and say, hey, I want her to come play softball for me, but I want to go watch her play volleyball as well. Or I want to go watch her run track as well. I want to see what kind of athlete I'm getting. And a lot of it, once you get to a certain point and you just have that Well, everybody on that level has that it factor. So now we're looking outside of athletics. Now we're looking outside of academics. Now they're recruiting the person, right? So Arizona State looks at you, and your measurables are identical to another girl, just identical. You're coming from North Carolina. She's coming from Wisconsin. I mean, but everything is identical, right? What's is going to separate you from her? What's going to separate her from you? We're talking about what clubs are you involved in? Honor Society, beta clubs, volunteering. Are you coaching somewhere? Are you, what are you doing? Your personality. They're talking to your friends. They're talking to coaches. They're talking to whatever. They're looking at your social media. So you got everything. You've done everything you possibly can, and it's out of your hands. And now you leave it up to faith, and it is what it is. So your number one school there is Kentucky, or your number one school there is Arizona State. But what happens if they're just not recruiting your position anymore? They've got it filled. They've got transfers coming in. They got 2 girls that just transferred in. And they already had 2 on the roster. So now they got 4 players that play your position. You're a catcher. Well, they've got 2 other stud catchers that are sitting behind the number 1 stud. So, you know what I mean? So then now we have to figure out, okay, what are we going to do here? Maybe Arizona State's not mine. And I'm just using Arizona State as an example. I can use any school. But maybe Central Michigan, all of a sudden now that spot that you thought that you were hoping for is just not there anymore. So what's my number 2? What's my number 3? What made me choose? What made me want to go between a Michigan or, we're looking at maybe not a Michigan or a Michigan State. I mean, because, when we're talking rivalries, good gracious, right? You could be, it depends on what side of the river you grew up on, or, you know what I'm saying? So, but what's going to separate you as an athlete from these other potential athletes, right? And then maybe all of a sudden, if something happens, how many times do we see this happen? A coach gets fired, or a coach resigns, or a coach takes a different job, right? So I wanted to go to XYZ school, and I was getting recruited by Coach B, right? Coach Black was recruiting me. I was going to go there. Well, now all of a sudden, Coach ABC or School ABC come in and offered a whole bunch of money and this and that, and it's their dream job, and now they're gone. And now the only reason I was going to go to School X, Y, and Z was because Coach B was there. Coach Black was there. But I can't follow Coach Black to School ABC because they don't have any spots open now. They're not recruiting. They've already closed their doors. They're done. They don't need any more 23s, or they don't need any more 24s or 25s. So now it's like, well, what do I do? It happens all the time. If anybody watched that Jalen Ford, that episode of that podcast with Jalen Ford, of course, now she's in Japan. She's finishing up. She's here with, she plays with U-Trip Pride. She talked about her recruiting days or whatever. She was going to go to Virginia, right? That was her dream school. That's where she wanted to go. That's where she thought that she was going to end up. All signs are pointing she's going to go to Virginia, and she'll tell her story. But for whatever reason, she didn't end up going there, right? She ended up going to JMU. She goes to James Madison. Well, now look at her. She's a professional pitcher. She's been playing internationally in Australia and in Japan, and she's was drafted by the Zips. I think it was the Zips. Was it Akron? What was their team? What is their team? Anyway, now she plays for the Pride. So I say that to just remind you that you can have this dream. You can have this goal, right, to go play. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out for you to go play there, right? And here's another thing, too. The young ones, the 12s, 13s, the 14s, the 15-year-olds. We're going to these camps. We're reaching out. We're talking as much as we can to these coaches when we go. And, of course, they can't talk to us too much just because of NCAA guidelines and stuff. So we do get letters in the mail. And I see it from time to time. So-and-so got this letter. So-and-so got that letter. And we're boasting it. And, hey, good on you for getting that letter. But just be mindful that there's a long way to go, right? And we put these letters out there. We shared on our social media saying, hey, I got a letter from school A, and I got a letter from school B, got a letter from school C. A lot can happen between now and then. And if we put this information out there that you received this letter, well, now there's a ton of pressure on you. Mamas and daddies, when we put that added pressure onto that kid, or they might start hearing, catching some flack. Well, she's not that great. I don't know why school A sent her a letter. Well, it just opens you up for someone to do and say some nasty stuff. I'm not going to say don't do it. Be proud of it. It is big time. It is, it's always cool to get those type of letters saying, hey, we see you, we notice you. Thanks for coming. We got you on our radar. We look forward to talking to you in the future, this and that. It makes that athlete feel good, and it is good. But the wrong type of people, the wrong people can get that, take that picture, look at that picture, or say something, and just cause the kid some grief. And I hate to see that for a kid that's worked their butt off and gotten that letter, and somebody just for whatever reason feels like they can just want to go out and hurt somebody's feelings. So just be mindful of that. I'd hate for that to happen. As we move on past National Signing Day, we're going to get into it. We're going to break some of these teams down and figure out where these girls are from. If you don't know who Addie Mettler is, check her out. She's a pretty special athlete. So I do want to get into the big three tonight. I'm going to kind of tie in the National Signing Day with some other stuff that kind of goes with that. And earlier today, we talked a little bit about the big three, and it was more like a big two, I guess, which is cool. Sometimes I just don't have all my thoughts like wrapped up, and you'll hear me ramble. But as far as tonight's big three, I want to talk about goal setting to kind of start it off, and this is a perfect time to do it, honestly. We have a lot of big news from our friends that they got signed, or maybe they are going to sign, or they're continuing their education and continuing their career. So we can kind of see that, and it becomes tangible for us. Or we noticed on social media today when we got up that this National Signing Day, or we saw it at our school. So it makes us kind of think about it. It makes us have these goals, right? Okay, so we have long-term and short-term goals. Doesn't matter what it is in life, we have long-term and short-term goals. When we set our goals, sometimes we need to set our goals so that we fail. Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to fail, right? Why is Coach Tyler talking about wanting me to fail? Okay, well, we have to set our goals far enough away from us to where it makes us work for it, right? We want to work towards something. We don't want to have some short-term goal to where it's easy and we get this goal, but we know we set it, it's like super easy, right? Our long-term goals need to be those ones that are like these dream goals. Like, man, I know I can bust my butt and I can get to this point. And to get to that point, I have got to set some smaller goals along the way. And the small goals, I'm talking about just the smallest that you can imagine, these small goals. This week, I got a goal that I'm going to get up every day 30 minutes early, and I'm going to do something, whether it's work out this, do that, knock out some push-ups, do something. I'm going to set a goal to wake up early, and that becomes a new habit. So now that's no longer a goal for you, right? You've already set this goal and you've achieved it, and it's become your new your new habit. Like this is me now. I've changed. So we take those goals and we move those goals around to help us towards that bigger main goal. So I have a goal this week. I'm going to set aside an extra 15 minutes just to read something. Expand my brain a little bit. I'm going to get into something a little bit more. I'm going to I want to challenge myself. So we're thinking about challenging ourselves, creating these bigger goals. And when we do that, these small goals that we achieve along the way, we're working towards that main goal. But man, we're building this confidence, right? We're setting these smaller goals, these attainable goals. I'm talking these are silly attainable goals that we can meet. Just they used to be big at some point. Absolutely. They were big at some point. But now, man, I'm so used to hitting these goals, right? That I'm waiting for that next one. I'm waiting for that next big one that's coming around. This year I had a goal set. I'm going to make straight A's all 4 quarters. Okay, so what's my small goals before I can do that, right? My small goals, I got to set. I got to go to bed at a decent time every night. I got to study so much every night. And these are small goals. These are daily goals that we have. And it becomes the new us. It becomes this is my new me. This is it. Like, I've changed. And it doesn't happen overnight. Trust me. Hey, I've made some big changes in my life over the years. And I've failed along the way. I've wanted to change and failed. I've wanted to do this and I've failed. But I just kept setting that goal. And maybe I set that goal too far sometimes. And I had to backtrack and bring that mile marker in a little bit closer. I outpunted my coverage or whatever that saying is. And I had to come back just a little bit. And that's okay. But eventually I got to that main goal at the end. I just had these roadblocks. Some of the roadblocks are a little bit closer than other times. And you can do the same thing. So what if you're a C-level student and I can't go play Division I ball making C's? And I'm making C's in just the basic classes, right? Some of these athletes that are out there making straight A's in their honors classes, right? That could separate us. That could set us apart. So what do we have to do? Just got to be a better student. Some students aren't good test takers. It is what it is. Some students don't have to study. They can take tests and they can nail them. That is what it is. Can't do nothing about it, right? So we got to set our goals within our means. And then we become somebody new, right? So what if you have a goal of making your spring softball team coming up here pretty soon? What can you do right now, November 9th, in the year of our Lord 2022? What can you do today, tonight, or first thing in the morning? What can you do differently to kind of set that goal up, help you? I have an end goal of making the squad. I want to make the squad when it comes out. What can we do, right? I'm going to start working on my footwork. I'm going to try to get in better shape. I'm going to study the game a little bit more. I'm going to talk to my mom and dad about getting this piece of equipment or that piece of equipment, getting a tee, a bat, a bow net, a helmet, something that I can work on. I'm going to figure out where these camps are. I might save up some money to not put a burden on mom and daddy to go to a camp. You know what I'm saying? What can we do? So that might be somebody's goal. Somebody sitting here listening to this. That could be your goal. I'm going to make the squad. You might want to be a pitcher come next year, travel ball season, when it cranks up after school ball and we're getting going. Latter part of the spring, we're getting into the summer ball, right? I want to be a bracket pitcher. They always let me pitch, but it's always pool games that don't really matter. Well, if anybody tells you pool games don't matter, you're in the wrong tournament, you're on the wrong team. Anytime you get out there and you work, pool game, bracket game, showcase game, it doesn't matter. You're out there putting in work. I don't know the difference between a pool pitcher and a bracket pitcher. Either you're a pitcher or you're not a pitcher. But anyway, if you want to get better at pitching, what do? We work harder at pitching, right? We pitch more. We learn something more. We try to figure something out. We work on our grip. We learn a new pitch. We get more accuracy with, throwing our fastballs, being able to spot our fastball, right? Whatever we're doing, we try to become a better pitcher. Whatever level you're at as far as a pitcher is concerned, you try to get better at pitching, and that way you become the starter. That's the ultimate goal, right? You want to contribute to the team. So as we set these goals, we're going to go back here, is we set these goals moving forward, wanting to be whatever it is we want to be. I want to be first violin, or I want to be lead soprano, or I want to, whatever we do in ballet. Somebody tell me whatever it is in ballet. I want to be lead. I don't know. Somebody tell me what it is. Lead whatever. We have to work towards something. We can't just go out there and wing it. So, wrapping up this whole goal setting piece, set your goal that's out there the end goal, the ultimate, but set it out there like maybe a 6 month or a year or 2 year type goal. Like, what's something that I want to accomplish that I can't accomplish like right away? So that's what I'm talking about, like a long-term goal. Now, we could have a 5 year and a 10 year, and I get that, but let's not push too far out. So let's set a goal, whether it's a 6 year goal, 4 year goal, 2 year goal, something like that. It can just kind of be on the back burner, but we're talking inside of 2 years, talking about 18 months, 12 months, 6 months, something that we can seriously work towards, and we can get to it where we don't lose focus on it, we don't lose track of it. It's something that I'll get to it when I get to it. So I don't want to go too far out. But now inside of that goal, let's start tonight, or let's start first thing in the morning, with what are these rungs to that ladder that I can use to build this, to get towards this goal. Studying more, talking to someone more, reading more, whatever it is. Your situation is your situation, but I want you to set these smaller goals, these daily goals, and then these daily goals become weekly, and of course they become monthly, and then so on and so forth from there. So we move forward, right? That's what we want to get to. When we talk about, as we talk about goal setting, and that kind of ties into the National Signing Day, right? We had an ultimate goal of playing D1, or we playing D2, or we're playing D3. When you're 12, 13, 14 years old, you could have a goal to go be playing at UCLA, but at this age, or at that age, is that attainable? I mean, of course it is. Absolutely, of course it is. But is that something that you can say, okay, to reach that goal today, I need to do this, or to reach that goal tomorrow, I need to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that's a long term goal. I'm not talking about shooting out that far. Kind of be within your means a little bit. With that goal setting, we have to have a good network around us, right? We gotta know who to talk to, when to talk to them. Who we can trust, who's got our best interests at heart, right? Our coaches, definitely. Our teachers, our guidance counselors, our parents, our aunts, uncles, siblings, cousins, somebody like our inner circle that we can trust, and we know we can count on them. They're going to keep us straight. They're not going to let us off the beam too far. They're going to keep us where we need to be. I've talked about the inner circle quite a bit in the past on previous streams and that kind of stuff. Your inner circle can help you, or your inner circle can hurt you. When we talk about social media, make sure your mamas and daddies on there aren't ranting and raving about an umpire, or ranting and raving about something that a college coach could potentially say, you know what, I just don't want to deal with this. They say, it may not be an issue, but you know what, I just don't want to. So let's get our social media, all right, get our inner circle, get our network and our inner circle kind of cleaned up, and there's different ways to go about that. Talk to someone and say, hey, how do I approach so-and-so about this? It happens. Doesn't happen all the time where, somebody says or does something. I have heard tell that somebody got wiped off a list just because of, some bad stuff on a close family member's social media. So when we're talking about network, it's anybody, any coach could kind of get to and say, hey, what type of person am I dealing with here? What type of history, what type of background, what kind of atmosphere is this athlete grown up in? Is this someone that we can see bringing in our brand? Because essentially at the end of the day, they're not just recruiting you, they're recruiting the whole piece. And they want to make sure that, especially now, there's so many eyes, so many lenses on everything with college athletics. They just want to make sure that they do everything they can to keep the image of the institution intact. And so you always hear that they're not just recruiting you, they're recruiting your family, they're recruiting your inner circle. And that's the last thing I'll talk about, that piece, because every situation like that is delicate. I'm just saying, kind of be aware of what your friends and family have out there that can be seen. When they go to games, if they're that loud dad, if they're arguing with the umpires, if they're intoxicated, if they are every single call they're just talking about at a showcase. You got a bunch of college coaches out there, and they're come to see you. Like, you had set it up, you had scheduled it. Hey, I'm playing on this field at this time against this team. I'm playing in left. I'm batting fourth. You've got it all set up, and then there's a bad apple there, and now that coach doesn't want to be there anymore. That's your network. That's your inner circle, right? But as we talk about network in a good light, I don't want to be all negative Nancy on that. But when we talk about our network, let's talk about our resources. Let's talk about how and how we can use certain things and who we can use in certain ways to get where we want to go, right? Who's going to help me? Who can I benefit from? Pitching instructors, speed and agility instructors, hitting instructors, assistant coaches, mentors. This network. Is everybody in my network all pulling towards the same thing? Am I getting better? Am I bettering myself with the network that I have? If I'm not, maybe we need to do an audit and say, hey, wait a minute. I'm not getting better because of this. Or I'm not seeing a change in because of this. Or I need to shake it up a little bit. Or, hey, I need to do something different, right? Let's talk about our network. How strong is my network? Am I able to use these people, use these resources to get to where I'm going? Now, I'm not talking about use and abuse and get rid of them. I'm not talking about take advantage of people. That's not what I mean. But as your pitching instructor, my pitching instructor that I have for my girls is like a mentor, right? She not only does she do their pitching, they're able to talk to her about things that my kids can't talk about to anybody else for whatever reason. She's got that type of relationship with them, and if it wasn't for her, some of the stuff that they wouldn't be able to come to me with. She's been able to talk to them. So using these people outside of the family but are still within that network is huge. It's like an outlet, and you're talking years of being able to help people. There's a lot of college coaches out there that also have a lot of other people within their network that they talk to. So you may have had a dream school of school X and Y. They just don't have room for you. But their network, they have buddies, they have friends, they have other coaches that they kind of say, hey, I don't have anywhere for this athlete. I wish I did. If I did, I would have her. But I'm telling you right now, you should take a look at her. And then boom, so you're going to use their network to maybe there's an offer down the road from another school. Maybe it wasn't on your radar because it fell through. So building positive networks, being in positive networks. And networks are like spider webs, man. It's not just like one big circle and then everybody's in there, everybody's pulling kind of the same weight. It's kind of like when you're in school, there's like a main topic, and then you draw a line off of it, and then like here's a topic, and then there's a topic, and so before you know it, like you have this huge network of people that you bounce ideas off of, or that you're able to go to, and you're able to talk to her about this, but you're able to talk to him about that. You're able to gain this information from them, and you're able to gain that information. And it kind of just rolls together. This is who I go to for my speed and agility. This is who I go to help me with my math. This is who I go to when I'm doing my community service. This is who I go to when I'm volunteering at the Y. So here's like this whole network, right? This whole network of who you are and what makes you who you are. And that's where that whole network becomes. It gets looked at. We're separating, right? We got two athletes, athlete A and athlete B, and they are identical, except for they have different networks. So they start looking at the nitpicking of the network. This is her network, weighed against this network. And that could be the difference. That could be, they just split hairs right there and say, hey, we're going to go with her because of this. She has volunteered for the last 10 years at the Salvation Army during Christmas or whatever. Whatever it is. I have no idea what makes, Coach Smith pick you over Susie. I have no idea if it's identical. But I know that the level of ball you girls are playing these days, it's tough. It is tough to make sure they're making the right decision. And the crazy thing is, they get paid to make those decisions. But at the end of the day, that amount of pressure that they have on them by the school. I mean, when you're at that level, it's either win or go home. And you got to help them win. If they don't think you can help them win for whatever reason, they're just not going to pick you up. They're going to be like, all right, I'm going to go with Susie. And that's just like, well, had a chance to play D1, but, my grades weren't high enough. And there's different reasons why you don't go play D1. I'm not just, don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing it out there that you got to play D1. If you don't play D1, you're a bust. Man, there's so many awesome schools out there. Like I was saying, man, the talent pool is rich. There's just not enough spots. Which, it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? It's just like, if you look at travel ball now, how many athletes are, people talk about they jump ship or this or that. Well, there's a bunch of reasons why people leave one team and go to another one. The number one thing is the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But as girls, as you guys get older and your eyes are open to different things and you start to get influenced by different people, and your parents too, your parents are still getting influenced by their surroundings, their environment, their atmosphere, right? You find out like, hey, this team is a part of an organization and they do really good at getting the girls looked at and showcased and getting exposure, and they do really good at getting recruited, and that's what she wants to do. And then you'll have ones that they'll say, hey, this team, you always see them at showcases and they're not a part of an organization, but the coach has been with them for X amount of years and he does really well. He's got connections, he's got this, he's got that. So somebody could leave a team and go to this team because of whatever. There's a bunch of reasons why. There's a ton of reasons why people leave. And it's the same thing in the college ranks. You see that transfer portal. That transfer portal is going to affect you. You may be 14 years old right now, 15 years old right now. That transfer portal that's in place right now has an effect on you. Because one girl that makes a decision to go to this school instead of that school changes both of those schools. Right? It could mean she's a shortstop, she goes there. So now next year, a shortstop that wanted to go there decides not to go there. She decides to go somewhere else. So then there's like a trickle-down effect. Everybody heard of the butterfly effect? It's real. It's real. So whatever decision you make today affects tomorrow and 2 weeks from now and a year from now and 10 years from now. So every decision that you make has an impact. And unfortunately, decisions that others make have an impact on you. Now, how great those impacts are, that's life. That's the life we live in. But I don't want to get into like a sappy, make decision making and this and that. But the decisions that you make are critical. They're crucial. I mean, they're legit. They mean something. And if a school decides to drop an academic program or pick up an academic program, right? That changes things too, does it not? I think it does. That changes things, saying, hey, I wasn't going to go there. I marked them off the list because they don't have a veterinary program. Well, now I'm going to go there. I want to go there. Now they're on the top of my list because 2024 is going to be the first year that they offer botany. Well, that's just changed everything up for you, right? Now you're like, oh crap, I gotta go look and see what their prereqs are to get in here. What's their tuition? Do you have to live on campus? Can you live off campus? How much are books? How much is rent? How far away is it? What's the weather like? Is it boy and girl dorms, co-ed dorms? Or is it girls only? Do you have to join a sorority? So there's a lot. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And I don't want to scare anybody off. It is, National Signing Day. It's a big day for a lot of people. Look at my drink. Isn't that cool? But anyway, that's kind of my piece on tonight's the big three. You're gonna play softball at Clemson. I see that, Rylan. I tell you what, I'm wearing my Clemson shirt tonight. I hope you do play softball at Clemson. Hope you do play softball at Clemson. That would be cool. I could drive over to Anderson and see you play. But so Rylan, you got goals in mind, right? I mean, there's things that you want to have happen. So if your ultimate goal is to play at Clemson, we can start tonight or in the morning or here pretty soon about working towards that. What do we have to do? What's our goal? So if we look at like you for an example, what could you do to, or what can you continue to do to work towards that? What goals you can make, right? So that's the thing. We have that long-term goal. It's out there, but we can work towards that, and then maybe our goal changes. So we can definitely, me and you, we can definitely talk offline. We can get together at some point. We can talk about things, and I'll kind of lead you in the right direction. We can do some goal setting for you, and I hope nothing but the best for you. I want you to continue playing the game, and I want you to, make that dream a reality at some point. That'd be pretty cool to see you playing over there. So, for the coaches and the parents and organization heads and whoever, if you would like for me to shout your team out, shout your organization out, there is a form out there. I do believe, let me make sure, I do believe it is in the bottom. Okay, no, it is in the description. It's in the description below. Click on that, fill out the form, send it in to me. I'll take a look at it. I'll go through the information. I'll pull it out, and I'll shout your team out. I'll do a sort of like a spotlight, if you will. Shout outs of your team. So all I need, the first page is very simple, just whoever you are that's sending this information into me, just so I have a way to get in contact with you, whether it's via text or email. I like to text because that way I can save it on my phone, and I like to shoot text a little bit faster. But I will email you first from there. Fill this out. Tell me who you are, whether you're an organization, whether you're a team. Let me know how old you are. It kind of gives me an idea of what age group we're dealing with. The team colors and stuff, I just like to know. That's just something for me. I may not even shout it out. I'll end up doing is either going to your Facebook page, or I'll end up going to your website, something like that, so I can get your information. I kind of look through it. I like to pick through it, and then I like to talk about it. I like to shout you out. Kind of where you're at, where you're located at, what tournaments you play, whether you're playing U-Trip or you're playing Top Gun or you're playing whatever. Let me know. I like to kind of, talk about that. Let me just do like a favorite memory, and then your plans. Like, where are you at? Like, as a coach, it could be, I want to grow this into a bigger organization. I've got one 10U team. I want to have 2 10U teams next year. Awesome. And then on the backside, like the impact that the game has had on you. What do you love most about the game? And now it doesn't have to be, I love winning. I like winning trophies and this and that. If there's something you could change about the game, this right here just kind of lets me get your personality. It's kind of hard to figure out personality on something like that. So I figured the best way for me to get some personality out of you is if you could change something around the game, what would it be? And that way I can kind of fill you out a little bit. And then also, This jot form is out there in different locations, whether it's here on the YouTube channel. You're getting it on when you click on and listen to the podcast, whether it's iTunes or Google Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you're listening to the podcast, or if you're watching it on the YouTube channel. Also on the social medias, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Insta, TikTok, all those, wherever you're getting it from, just let me know where you got the form from or where you clicked on it from. Unfortunately, jot form doesn't show me where you got it from. It just says, hey, you clicked the link. And unfortunately, the link is the same across the board. So it doesn't tell me, hey, she clicked on it from Google Podcast, or hey, he clicked on it from wherever. So it's one of those jot forms, very simple, but it comes to me, email, take a look at it, and I'll get into it, and I'll definitely let you know before I do it, so you can get your girls ready, get your team ready. You'll know what day I'm going to do it on. I love doing it. I tell you what, man, it's crazy. I talked about this earlier when I was talking about finesse Fastpitch. It's nuts, to be honest with you. I had talked to a couple people before about how I wanted to go about shouting out a team or just putting a spotlight on them or saying like, hey, I just want to get someone else's message and someone else's word out there. That was like my whole thing. Like, how can I go about this? And like, what could I do? What could I, just shout them out and say, hey, I looked at your page or whatever, but I wanted to have some type of interaction with them to let them know like, hey man, I'm really doing this for you guys. And, so what's crazy is I sent it out, and I think almost immediately, it may have still been in the trial. It may not even have been live. I don't know how long it had been live, but, I had a coach reach out to me, and, it was Aaron Martin from, Finesse Fastpitch. And, Aaron had reached out to me, and, he said, hey man, well, first off, I got his jot form back, and so I emailed him, let him know, hey, I got it, and then after that, we just struck up a conversation. So the first team that reached out was Coach Martin. He had reached out and said that his daughter played with Finesse Fastpitch out of Glass City. Glass City. If Glass City is Toledo, I've been told Glass City is Toledo, and then Motor City is Detroit. So you have that whole area, if you would, the Michigan, Ohio, that area. Anyway, so I was talking to him, and he let me know kind of like the backstory, and he kind of filled in some of the gaps that I had when I was talking to him about, finesse this and what are they doing here and this and that. But I got to talking to him, and he was telling me about his daughter, Katie. And matter of fact, tonight they're hitting lessons, so I don't know if they're watching or not. But his daughter, Katie, plays on that team. And if you look, it's a bunch of 25s, and there's a 26 on there. So these girls are at that age where they're getting looked at, they're getting exposure, where they're going to end up going and stuff. So if you look at their camps or their showcases, not really camps, but their showcases, and you look at the tournaments that they're playing in, these are some big time tournaments that they're in. These are some showcases. These girls are getting that exposure that they're looking for. And Coach Haverman, Carla, and husband Matt, they run the team, and then of course you got some other sisters, Dan Fisher, Aaron Martin, and then Rebecca Cottrell. Man, is that how you say that? Cottrell? Man, I need to ask her. I don't want to say it wrong. But anyway, you look at kind of what they're doing here. They're wrapping up the season. I actually today we were texting about this. Playing in the Scenic City Fall Showcase. I watched their last game via Game Changer, which was really cool. Being able to watch girls, the teams and stuff on Game Changer when you can't be there. And then that's another way I can kind of not meet other teams, but just kind of check them out. And it's fun to watch good ball. And I think I don't remember the team. It was Batbusters. I wish I could remember the name, but it was the last game that they were playing, and they ended up getting beat. But we were talking about that game, and he was talking. Aaron was talking about the last. Just it was the last game, and they hadn't made those errors all day, and it was just when it rains it pours. That type, and we've all been in that situation, but I didn't look at it that way. I just looked at it like things happen in the game, and sometimes they happen in back-to-back innings. Sometimes they happen multiple times in an inning. But the girls just kept playing. They didn't quit. They didn't give up. It wasn't like, all right, well, that's it. We're down by such and such. They just kept grinding, kept doing their thing, which that was what I took away from it. And it's cool to see that, because I think nowadays you see a lot of attitude, or you see a lot of bad body language, and I think that comes from us as parents and coaches. We put so much pressure on them, and they're afraid to fail, and so naturally the human in them comes to defend, and the easiest way for them to defend, the quickest way for them to defend a mistake that they make or a failure that they have, is to act like they're super mad at it, that it happened. And I go through it with my two daughters all the time. It's one of the biggest conversations we have is attitude and effort. If you can control those two things, everything else is work itself out. We worked our butts off in the last little bit about controlling that and saying, hey, look, this stuff has to happen at this age. You have to go through this growth. You have to make these mistakes. Because at some point you're going to get there, hopefully at a higher level. And if you've never made a mistake and now you're making it on a bigger stage, who knows? You don't know how to handle it, right? But I say that to say that with watching these girls, they dealt with some adversity, some bad throws, some normal, things that happen. Maybe some bobbles here, needed a big clutch hit, here or there, and just couldn't get it, or just stuff that happens, just normal play. And they dealt with it, and they come away. They didn't get the win, but I think at the end of the day, does it really matter that you didn't get the win? It sucks that you lose, but how much development, how much growth, how much exposure, how much did you learn from it? It was cool to see them, watch them play when it goes through there. After the live stream today, I did chat with Aaron a little bit, and we had talked about the players from Finesse that committed, and so I wanted to go back through that today again this evening and just kind of shout them out, because it is a big deal. It is National Signing Day. This is my National Signing Day stream, and kind of tying it all in, the 2023 commits that they have. I want to learn how to say that. Lance Cruz. Are you in the chat, Aaron? Let me see. Who's in the chat? It's Riley. Riley's in the chat. Okay. Or Ryland's in the chat. Aaron, if you're watching this and you can kind of spell that out phonetically, let me know. But you got Delaney. She's going to Northwood. Megan's going to Kent State. Becca is going to Kent State. Faith is going to Grand Valley State University. Gage is going to Northwood. Brenna is going to Ohio University. Jenna is going to University of Toledo. McKenna is going to Purdue University at Fort Wayne. Olivia is going to Ohio Dominican University. Madison is going to Ashland. McKenna Dunlap. Well, McKenna Menton is going to Purdue Fort Wayne. McKenna Dunlap is going to Pensacola State. Kylie is going to Grand Valley State. And Megan is going to Kent State. You got Lily is going to Albion. Man, somebody needs to help me out with that one too. Ella Katie is going to University of Illinois. You got Peyton's going to Bowling Green State University. Katie's going to Marion. Grace is going to the University of Michigan at Dearborn. Or University of Michigan Dearborn. Francesca as well. Madison is going to Alma. Natalie is going to Ferris State. Alexis is going to University of Detroit. Maddie is going to Alma as well. Claire is joining Alexis at the University of Detroit. Emily is going to Concordia. And again, somebody needs to help me out with this name. Is it... Man. Touraine? I gotta go Touraine. Somebody let me know. Aaron, let me know tomorrow what that is. Or tonight. Somebody shoot me a message. Somebody put it in the chat. There we go. So those are the commits for the 2023. Congratulations to them. Big time shout out to them. Finesse Fastpitch is doing great things. I talked about it earlier. They have teams on the state level, the regional level, and the national level. It's great to talk about, and one thing I didn't mention earlier is someone like Chitty, Amanda Chittister, who is from the area, played there. She, I don't know if you guys kept up with her, but she's big time. She was on the U.S. national team. She went to Michigan. Actually, before that, she went to Allen Park, Cabrini, and then she went to University of Michigan. She played at Finesse, and then she went to University of Michigan. Here are a few pictures of her with the national team. Chitty. That looked like. That's what you say. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see her. And if you look on the channel, one of the shorts that I made was her home run that she hit playing with Athletes Unlimited. So it was pretty cool to see that. So she's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. If you want to reach out to them, here you go. There is their contact information. And I will make sure that their link is in the description below. I will comment that. Let me get their link and put it in the chat. Boom, 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 boom. Give me just a second. I'll put their link in the chat. If I can do it. I don't know if it'll let me. There we go. There we go. So you should be able to click on that and be able to get to Finesse if you want to check them out. Instead of just me telling you about them. There you go. There's all the coaches' information to be able to get up with them, talk to them. You got the director of operations, Donnie, and then the president, Tommy, and then of course all the coaches' information is there to chat it up with them. So I'm sure. Let me see. Where did I see it at? Click on their tryouts and registration. I'm gonna go try out with them. See if they'll let me try out with the squad. It may not let me do it in my program that I'm on right now. Oh, no. Finesse. That's pretty cool. The latest college commitments, they have it on their front page. So that's pretty cool. Can I get to the registration like this? Let me go. I'll do it outside of my streaming program and see if they'll let me. Okay, so here we go. You may not be able to see this, but let me do this, and I can put it into the stream, and you can take a look at it in the stream. See if this will pop up like this. Oh, there we go. All right, so I'll pull this up on my side so I can see it too. So the 2022-2023 Finesse Fastpitch tryouts. There you go. So if you're in that area and you're looking for a tryout, looking for some information on that, here you go. Yeah. Information is in there. It's on their homepage. If you click on it, click on their homepage, you'll be able to go straight to their tryout. Get their information. As always, hey, squeaky wheel always gets the grease. So make sure you make a phone call or message somebody. Say, hey, I'm looking to try out. That's what I want to do. So just sort of recap the stream today. Congratulations to all the young ladies that signed their national letter of intent to become a collegiate athlete. Good on you. Continue to work hard. I'm not the only one when I say that. What in the world? I don't know why it does this. Where did my... There it is. Okay. I know I'm not the only one that will tell you this, that the work has just begun now. So you've been away from mom and daddy for the first time maybe. New neck of the woods, new part of the country, and having to put up with the schoolwork, the workload, also having to do workouts. You know, it's a different level for sure. So kudos to you. Get ready for the hard work. Don't let up. Keep pressing. Put the work in the off season this year. Make sure you get rid of all your little nagging injuries. Get your therapy in. Get your recovery in. Rest when you can, but continue to work hard too. I know it's kind of work hard and rest at the same time. It's kind of tough, but take care of your body and get well. So when you get to first day workouts or whatever you're doing, make sure you're ready for that. College coaches don't want to see you skipping out. They want you to continue playing as long as you can. Finish up your high school career, play your travel ball because they want you coming in hot. You know, on campus, they want you coming in prepared to work, prepared to play. They don't want you to let up at all. So, congratulations, and good luck to you in your future. For those of you that didn't sign national letters of intent, you're too young. You're not old enough yet. Let this be sort of a rest area. Let this be sort of a mile marker. Let this let's mark the mile. I could probably line that up a little bit better, make it look better, huh? Let's mark it, right? So let's say, okay, hey, my friend Lacey signed today. My friend Lacey signed with Coker. I want to go play at Coker when it's time for me to graduate high school. I want to sign with Coker. So now, boom, this right here sets your goals. Now we're in motion. This is what I got to do moving forward. So let this kind of be that point, this jumping off point. Let it be a stepping stone moving into to your future. You got your friends that are signing. Do that. If your network is a little bit jacked up right now, if you don't have a network, start building that network. People you can talk to, people you can learn from, people you can get better with, right? Just have a good network. Let's check out our inner circle. Let's do an audit on our inner circle. Is my inner circle there for me to help benefit me? Are they riding my coattails? Or are they setting me up for failure? Are they doing something for me? Can they help me out in any way? Are they burdening me? Are they hurting me? Check out your inner circle. I'm not saying get rid of mom and daddy. I'm just saying let's make sure that moving forward, my best interest is at their heart or in their heart. Whether that's on the ball field, it's in the classroom, wherever we're at, make sure your inner circle is an inner circle you're proud of. And you're not taken up for, you're not hiding, you're not, I don't know what the word is. You're not ashamed. Don't be ashamed of your inner circle. There you go. If somebody's doing something shady and you have to kind of cut them out a little bit, then hey, that's it. That's what you have to do. It's tough. It's a hard decision to make, but be better off for it. So, what else? Friday's live stream. We will look ahead at the weekend and kind of see where all the chips fell with the National Signing Day. We'll take a look at that one more time. We'll look at the kind of overall recruiting class. Got to look ahead. Some surprises maybe popped up. Maybe, I don't know. We'll get into another big three of Friday, kind of looking ahead toward the weekend. I know there are a few showcases this weekend. There's the Triple Crown's got one down here at Myrtle Beach. If you are in the path of Hurricane, I think it's Nicole, stay safe. Don't risk it. It's not worth it. That will be a topic for Friday's show. Rain delays, weather delays, refunds, what are tournament directors doing, how can we avoid this and that. So we'll get into that a little bit on Friday. This weekend, while I'm out, I am hoping to talk to a few different people and get a couple interviews with them that I can get out on the audio podcast side. So not everything I do goes on the YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make it over here on the YouTube channel because the video is just not there. A lot of stuff's going to be audio. And so if you haven't checked out the audio side of stuff, let me see if I can find it. There we go. If you haven't checked out the audio side of the podcast, it's out there. It's there. Everything, anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you'll find my podcast there. So go there, download them, subscribe to them. Riding in the car, listen at work, on the treadmill, whatever you're doing. Same type of information, same stuff. Sometimes I do repeat myself from show to show, but I try not to. I try to mix it up, and sometimes I try to drive points home. I mean, it just depends. My schedule has been crazy the last little bit. I got a lot. Well, I did have a lot of personal stuff going on, and once it's all said and done, I'll be able to kind of share what I've been going through. And it's been tough on me. It's been not only tough on me, but just my family in general. And I'm not, it's not a pity party. I mean, I'm just, everybody, we all go through different things, dealing with whatever we got. So sometimes I have to slow down. Sometimes I have to, take time to myself. And I wish I could continue pushing out content and getting these interviews and stuff like that. But I also don't want to put out bad stuff either. So sometimes just stuff falls through. And it is what it is. But like I said this morning, moving through it, I can't wait for next year as far as the big things we have planned with Black Diamond, the big things we have planned with Foul Pole to Foul Pole, whether it's training, lessons, camps, clinics, and the streaming, the actual Foul Pole to Foul Pole live. The idea is to run it at least 3 times a week like I've been doing now. I would love to be able to do it more. I'd love to be able to do it every day because there's going to be content there, especially during the season. We're able to talk about it, kind of relate. We'll be talking about high school ball. We'll be talking about travel ball. And then we'll also talk about the college game. And then you got the programs that will be cranking up too. So there's just a lot of content that's coming. And just this time of year, there's just not a whole lot outside of today's and the next couple of weeks as far as showcases and stuff that are concerned. So I'm looking forward to the winter to kind of take some downtime. And then just like you guys are too. But hitting the ground running early next spring, maybe even February. It's going to be a big year. This year was a big year. I think now the YouTube channel has actually it's been doing ridiculous the last little bit. I don't know why. It's not like I've done anything different. It's just popping off. Just in the last, let me see. In the last couple of days, I'd say, let's see, today's what, the 9th? Is today the 9th? today's the 9th. So in a month, my subscribers went from 1218 to today I'm at 1289. So in less than a month, let's see, from the 12th to the 9th. So in less than a month, what did we go? What is that? Someone do the math for me. Was that 60? So I went up about 60 subscribers, and you guys have noticed too. I haven't been posting an incredible amount either. Like I do post like YouTube shorts because they're fun, they're easy. I like doing the baseball highlights, and I like seeing the softball highlights and stuff like that. And I like putting kind of funny stuff out there or like shocking stuff out there. I like putting that kind of stuff out there. So I do that. But as far as like my podcast content, I don't want to burden anybody right now with trying to work around my schedule and get stuff done. And then I did have some stuff scheduled up, and then they did kind of fall through, and it was on my end. But here within the next month, before Christmas, there's going to be a lot of podcasts that will be dropping. So I do appreciate all the support that I have with the podcast, because I talk to people all the time about it, and they're like, hey, who do you got coming on next, or when are you doing this, when are you doing that, you need to get so and so. And I have been on the other end of the podcast too. I've been a guest on the podcast, and it's different. Like it's hard for people to want to come on the podcast. Like we can talk, like just me and a buddy, and we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But once you're on camera and it's being recorded, it kind of changes things. And I know, as being on both sides of the spectrum there, I was on the Patrick Jones podcast, Patrick Jones Baseball. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's patrickjonesbaseball.com. Check it out. He's got a ton of good information, not just baseball. That's the name of it, because believe it or not, he used to be in the Baltimore Orioles organization. So anyway, I was on his, and so I was on the other side of it. So I was on the side that my guests are on, and I got that same feeling of you don't know the direction the interview is going to go. Sometimes you don't. Especially if I've never spoke to him, I've never talked to him. So we talk, and this is the way it goes. I'll reach out via social media most of the time. Sometimes if I have a connection, a mutual friend or something like that, I'll either I usually send him a text, or I send him a DM, or I might private message them, whatever. And depending on who they are, whatever, how busy they are, whatever they got going on, it could take 30 seconds for a response, or it could take, I don't even know. It could take like a couple of weeks, a couple of months. It just depends on how busy they are. And what happens to me is like there's something will pop off, something will happen, and like I want to talk to so and so, and something popular is going on, or something else. Like, man, I'd love to get them on to talk about this, but they're too busy, or they got different things going on, or they just don't like my content. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to be involved with the content, and then they just don't want to tell me no, or can't tell me no. And I get that, I understand that, I'm with that, right? So some of the guests, they just don't want to do it, or when they might say yeah, they do want to do it, just let me know, and they give you that yes, and then they may not want to, and that's fine too. So it's not like I'm not efforting. I haven't efforted a lot lately, just because of my schedule has been going on. There's a couple of things that are going on that's taking up my time, and look, my brain housing group, it can only handle so much. There's a lot. It's just it's a ton, and but at some point, once everything is all good, I'll let you guys in on it, let you guys kind of know what's going on. But it's just stress, right? And just normal daily stress, the same stress that you guys are dealing with. It's the same. It's the same. But But anyway, getting back to the whole podcast thing, it's not the easiest thing. And then you got to make sure the connection is good. And then, like for instance, like Jalen was a 13-hour difference. She's in Japan, and so you got to work that out. And then, like if I'm talking to somebody on the West Coast, there's a 3-hour difference. You got to work that out. you know, my schedule with lessons, and my availability's got to work with their availability. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. Now, don't take it as me complaining, because if it wasn't for like Zoom and stuff like that, and then, you know, being able to take some good out of social distancing, like this podcast uses Zoom. There's a ton of them out there that are really good that I listen to and stuff. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to talk to these people. So like, even though like Heath Miller, one of my first guests, like I probably could have met up with him somewhere and talked to him. We could have sat somewhere and talked, but I was able to get him on the podcast, and he close by. And but you look at like the Tony Rico, or the Scott Smith, or the Tom Bunn, or Megan Renblack, or Jamie Lowprice, or Jalen, or just anybody, you know, Mike Zimmer. I mean, I'm about to list all of them. Jason Hanawahine out there in Hawaii. I mean, I wouldn't be able to talk to these people. So it is tough with the scheduling, but we can always work around it. I do have a big one coming up here pretty soon. I'm going to tease that one at a later date, but once we get a little bit closer to the date that we're actually going to do it and go down with it. So, but this weekend I will definitely talk to some people around Triple Crown down here at Myrtle Beach this weekend. There is a showcase event going on down here. Camp Friday, I think 5 to 8. It's at Grand Park. If you've ever been to Grand Park here at Myrtle Beach, it is pretty nice. Myrtle Beach is nice this time of year. Just not with a hurricane coming through, or a tropical storm, or whatever Nicole is at this point. I think we're supposed to get everything like Wednesday or Thursday, tomorrow night. Wednesday? No, Wednesday's today. So I think Thursday we're going to get it, and then I think Friday, Thursday night, and Friday, and then Friday it runs out of here, and then I think the field will be good come Friday evening, 5 or 6, one of the 5 or 6, whatever time. We'll do that, and then I think it's 5 games, might be 6. I'm not sure, 5 or 6. I'm not sure. So we have that. And then next weekend there is the Diamond Classics. I couldn't tell you what the event's called. I mean, at this point in the year, you kind of run out of tournament title names, right? Coco Melon, the Coco Melon Bash at the Beach, or whatever it is. So we got that coming up next weekend. It'll be the last one of the year. What is on my leg? So it'll be pretty cool. Wrapping up with a couple of locals here. I mean, granted, we are in Myrtle, and it's nice. We don't play too much here, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like everything we were doing was at Myrtle, which is nice for us. So, nice. Safe travels for all the people that are coming down this way too. So, this weekend should be a big weekend. There's a lot of good teams coming around here. Let me see if I can pull it up. The triple. Oh, there it is. Triple Crown. That's not what I wanted to go to. South Carolina Triple Crown Fastpitch. Myrtle Beach Fall Showcase. Let's take a look at the fall camp. College coaches attending. List updated weekly. More to be added. So that's a cool list. And of course, with recruiting rules, there won't be any Division I coaches at the camp, but I'm sure there'll be some at the turn or the play this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this so you can see it. So you can see. So you can see what I'm talking about. Give me just a second. I'll pull it up for you. There we go. All right, so we got the Triple Crown Fall Showcase Myrtle Beach Triple Crown Fastpitch. It says it's 4 to 8. Are we sure it's not 5? I had to look into that because I thought I saw 5 o'clock somewhere else. Anyway, so the colleges that are attending, if you're going to this, here's the colleges if you haven't looked at this. Alliance University out of New York, it's D2. You got Ashland, D2 out of Ohio. Belmont Abbey is a D2 out of North Carolina. Benedict, D2 out of South Carolina. Brunswick Community, right up the road here in from Myrtle Beach, it's JUCO out of North Carolina. Capital University is D3 out of Ohio. Clark University is NAIA. Cotty is NAIA. Drew University is D3 out of Jersey. Franklin Pierce University is a D2 out of New Hampshire. You got Gaston College, JUCO out of North Carolina. Guilford College, D3 out of North Carolina, not too far from here. And then Maryville University of St. Louis, it's a D2. So, pretty cool stuff. Looking forward to it. Crabtree Lane. Everybody knows what that's it, right? Look at that. Y'all think that's Myrtle Beach? I think it's Myrtle Beach. Looks like Myrtle Beach if you've never been here before. Awesome. So that's what we have going on this weekend around this area. Hopefully you guys are finishing yours up too. And y'all have had a good year. I think we've had a good year. All in all. Anyway, I guess we'll wrap up the National Signing Day night stream. And then I'll make sure this gets out there on the VOD channel as well. In the future, we'll be doing more of these at nighttime because I was talking to the wife and she's like, hey, your audience works or they're in school. So there's not going to be too many people on the live stream when you do it, but they'll catch it after the fact, especially when I do the big 3. So I want to start doing these more and more, especially as everything kind of winds down and there's really not a whole lot going on as far as softball this time of year, getting your work in and stuff. As far as practices and tournaments and stuff, that kind of slows down. But anyway, for those of you that play indoor, I've never done that. I've never been a part of that. So somebody hit me up on Twitter, hit me up somewhere, send me a message, shoot me an email, something. Get a hold of me and let me know what's good. Let me know how these things work out. And I want to talk to somebody about some indoor stuff. And I'm talking about sanctioned indoor tournaments, like they would be ran outside, but they're ran inside. I want to get in on that. Because, man, if you can run tournaments year round, dude, come on, huh? Come on, right? It'd be pretty cool. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys that stopped by, joined me for a few minutes, whatever it is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're catching this on the VOD channel, please hit that like button, comment down below. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Tell me how bad of a job I'm doing with this. Tell me what you would do different. If you haven't yet hit the subscribe button and you're new, please hit that subscribe button. It helps with the algorithm, gets this thing out to more and more people. The thing with YouTube is to get people to watch it, they've got to know that it's there. And unfortunately, even if you let people know that it's there, it's still hard to find. So unless it comes up on their feed. Maybe in the future we'll jump over and do some Facebook live streams. I don't know. Y'all let me know if that would work easier for you. Maybe do a dual one. There are other streaming platforms out there. Somebody was talking about doing TikTok live. I don't know if I'm going to do a TikTok live or not. That'd be kind of cool if I did, though, right? Check that out sometime. Facebook live are probably the next best bet for me. Wait a second. That's cool. But yeah, I guess that's going to wrap it up, for me. Again, there is the podcast, so check it out via the podcast, the audio. Okay. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you on the next one. And I'm out.
Whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah,
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring to feel